Yapa, Hanakpachakakyarayu, Hiyari. I invoke the thunder beings, the communicators of the Hanakpacha, in this encounter of rendezvous with soul, my beloved sister Robin. It gives me profound pleasure to welcome you to this conversation on the magic, the beauty, and the medicine power of the Pachacuti Mesa tradition as a sanctioned teacher that you are. Thanks for showing up, my love.
Thank you for the honor.
So I'd like to engage the viewing audience with a little story about yourself, and therefore I have two questions for you that will illuminate and shine your prowess as a Pachacuti Mesa teacher into the hearts of all who are present. And my first question is this, very simple. What first inspired you to become a practitioner of the Pachacuti Mesa tradition of shamanic arts?
Thank you for such a profound question. As I've been contemplating this question, I realized that for me, the root of it is really how I came into this planet, which was profoundly awake. I've been just awake and curious since I first came here, and a great blessing to have, the memories of being very, very young here, and having this deep questioning of, where am I? Like, what is this place? Why is there so much pain and suffering? And feeling like it was very foreign, the harshness here. And yet at the same time, like equal to that, and that like this great gift within me of empathy, which is also one of the great challenges I dance with, being so open in this way to over this life to need to become as strong as I am sensitive, to have those two be in harmony together. And that deeper, questioning and really feeling, a level of heartbreak and aching within me at the hurt that I was perceiving in the world. That the place that I could always go was to the trees and to the. I grew up in northern Arizona. And my parents, bless their hearts, there's many gifts that they gave me in this life. And one was a love for nature without fear. They never added fear into being with the natural world. And so as a little person, I would just go and climb the ancient pinyon and juniper trees. And, in that exploration, I could always come back to what now I can articulate as my true essential nature. I could always come back to my center, and the earth and the trees and the mountains have been my sanctuary in this journey of coming into this life and really opening up and awakening to the radical diversity that's here, the full spectrum of light and dark, of beauty and love and harshness and fear. Really, like in that process, the natural world has been that sanctuary for me. So, as I grew and really came to the Mesa traditions, before actually finding the Pachacuti Mesa, as I was growing, I started to have really severe health challenges. And for about a decade, from the time I was 14 to 23, I had just a very, very severe imbalance, one of those mystery illnesses that, the practitioners in North America, both alternative and allopathic, could basically not touch. I was told by many practitioners that I was the most difficult client. I mean, not personal. I hope it wasn't just my personality, but that what I was dealing with was one of the most difficult cases they'd ever seen. And the gift in that illness or that time of imbalance was, there's so many, I couldn't speak to them all here, but one that really has been that thread alongside that reverence for the sanctuary that is the earth is the love of truth, and really needing to, recognizing like not getting well for so long. It's like I needed to get real about the nature of reality and truth, and who I am, life, death, those sorts of big existential questions. And that ultimately led me to first traveling to Peru and working with the Mesa tradition as it was first introduced to me, and my dear sweet beloved partner Darcy, and to the sacred plant medicines there, both in the Andes and also in the jungle. And in that time, I was profoundly touched and also transformed by the healing container and the paradigm of consciousness, that consciousness of reconnection, of remembrance, of applied reverence. And as I left Peru on that first journey, my body never was the same. I was, if there's a physical upgrade that's possible, I received that. And that, after having something that felt so deeply entrenched and, and really, in my heart of hearts, I didn't really believe it was possible to receive physical healing because I'd kind of exhausted that hope. But my journey for the love of truth and that inquiry process, going to these sacred ceremonies, something happened. It was a container where grace could touch my life and touch my heart, and then through that move into my physical form. And also, after that, recognizing that it was possible, one, and that my journey embodiment was, really helping me to awaken to that possibility, that healing on that level is actually possible. That, it really helped me to expand in my consciousness for what, my own imbalance mirrored, which feels like it's the imbalance on the collective and planetary level. It was never lost on me that what was happening within me was also a reflection in the larger field, and that helped to inspire my dedication to healing within me. And so those first experiences in Peru and then subsequent trips, I was shown the basics of the Andean cosmology. And it's almost like, just very, very small, like bites of something that's like this huge, magnificent feast. And so I knew that I was in a state of ignorance around it. I was had gotten the very basics of the Mesa and the cosmology. And yet that connection and the activations and the transmissions that I and Darcy and I received together were so profound that, even with that small amount of the bigger picture, it was radically transformative in my life. And so there was just a devotion to continue to learn. And then when we came across your work, Don Oscar, and your voice on some interviews, and you speaking about the sacred sites in Peru that at each one had had revealed such a profound blessing of possibility. For Darcy and I, we both had to pay attention. It's like, this guy's talking about the Shavine, the place where, we experienced in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, our souls, that there's a whole nother way to live here. There's a way to live on planet Earth in this sacred reality that is radically cooperative and beautiful and, beyond sustainable, regenerative, non-hierarchical, that honors the masculine and feminine in sacred marriage. Just feeling that and knowing that changed my my view, opened up that possibility. And then coming across your work and recognizing, like, oh my goodness, maybe there's a chance for this, kind of this known state of ignorance to be repaired. And Darcy, really, I was pregnant at the time when we first found your work, and I just recognized that I had no mental capacity to take in any more information, and so I needed to wait till our daughter was born, and then after that, having the blessing and the honor to be mentored into the Pachacuti Mesa tradition with Judy Hoagland up here in our hometown of Nelson, British Columbia. It was truly astounding to see how the ground, the soil that I'd been tending within my being, working with the ceremonial work, really diving into that for the previous 7 years. It was as though when the teachings of the Mesa came, as offered in this, this profound lineage of love and reverence, that the ground was prepared, and it was as though that experience of mastai, or ordering, that my reality just moved so naturally into that place of greater consciousness and relationship to the benevolence and the sentience of all life. And then from that place to really be able to begin to anchor into my practice and practices in a way that has been, since really anchoring into this tradition, has been radically resourced and empowered. And those two coming together to me are really part of the hallmarks of what is a necessary requirement for a path of service for me, is being resourced and empowered. And then that I can lean into that golden chain, that golden thread of this great work, and be held by it as I really take my seat and step into that empowerment of my journey of continuing this great remembrance within me, this reconnection, this greater healing, that from that place, then I can empower others, and be in a place of our collective beauty and humanity together, because that can be something that we're all walking together. And I just love that this the body of teachings with the 5-part apprenticeship series, for someone who's truly, willing with that sincerity of heart, that it is a process that can, that is based in so many, thousands of years and hundreds of practitioners and maestros and maestras, that it can help to awaken that embodied soul service and that unique blessing that each person is. That is, that our diversity and that uniqueness is what creates that greater strength and resource of the lineage going through time. And I just love that. So with teaching this and being able to share the teachings and being a mentor in this, I feel so aligned because I feel that celebration of each person's unique gifts and that empowerment, and also that personal responsibility that is encouraged within these teachings, that, it's not me or you or anyone else giving it to somebody. It's that each person gets to self-initiate, and it's that personal responsibility that really is going to, in my perspective, that's what transforms the larger reality that we're in, is each of us choosing to respond. And then from there, who knows what could happen? It keeps becoming more beautiful to me, the world. And I'm so grateful for all that you offer, John Oscar. Thank you so much for the blessings of what you have been able to weave together in the unique expression that you are, and for the remarkable articulation of these vast principles into something that our Western minds can grok a little bit more. Yeah.
The village, as you well know, the collaboration between all of us that made the lineage. So your answer to that first question was so rich, robust, and meaningful, and sourced from a place of vulnerability. Since brought you into this was your profoundly visceral sensibility and to the suffering of the world, and to the disorder and the pain that is not necessary for humankind to grow. And the many years you spent in an empathic connection with that suffering is the mark of a true wounded healer that emerges from the fire like a phoenix, renewed to join the rest of the winged ones, sprinkling hope down into the field of humanity. So I thank you so much for articulating what you did with such grace and powerful wisdom, sister. As a matter of fact, your answer also answered the question that I had second for you, was how did you transform? How are you transforming as a result of being a sanctioned teacher? And what you spoke about, your relationship to the community of students and apprentices that you have, and how daily by sitting at your Mesa you receive a more amplified experience of your purpose as a shining one on planet, suffices. So, given the time restrictions we have on this recording, I think that this is going to be enough. And once again, Pishulpaiki, Warmicha, Amauta, Kampikamayuk, Robin Flynn.
Thank you so much.
I love you, sister. Thank you.